Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mr. BuildWealth. I am back at it again. And if this is your first time joining me, I'm here to share information and resources that can help you get started with building wealth. And before I get started, as always, I've been making a point to punch in my website so that way you all will know where to find me and also what I'm up to. So feel free to check out the website. Let me know if there's something I can assist you with. Have some good articles on there. Some videos might be useful. So check it out. If you need to get in touch with me to work on some things as it relates to your financial plan, fill out the contact us section at the bottom and I'll be happy to follow with you and see what kind of magic we can work. So the title for this session is The Truth Hurts Temporarily. If anybody has worked with me, I tend to not beat around the bush when it comes to getting people to act or to execute their plans, to do what they say they're going to do, to keep their word. And I know sometimes hearing the truth it's tough for a lot of us to grasp, but I wanted to share a story about truth and how I know that when you can be honest with yourself about your situation, no matter where you are right now, I know you can grow once you accept this truth. So I was having a discussion the other day with a friend, and we were talking about how much like volunteer work I've done for underserved communities. And I talk about money mindset, which is what everybody else talks about, because you got to think a certain way about money before you can kind of move forward, because a lot of us aren't thinking we're not thinking the right way. And so we keep doing the same stuff, getting the same results, and we're never going to achieve these goals. So I was sharing a story around, gosh, it happened to be probably 6-7 years ago. I was doing some volunteer work at an organization that's connected to the county. And so these are all people who are, I'll say, in the system of some sort, right? And so they had to go through this financial education session. And there was one young lady in any class that I've taught, especially with adults, it's always that one person who just, you can tell that they probably need the most help, but they're fronting like everything's cool. And so this one, she wasn't necessarily fronting, but she was just disruptive. And so over the course of a 2-week period, she was late, I think pretty much every class. And so during the final, I think it was the second to the last day, I was kind of fed up with her being late and being disruptive. And I think we had heard enough about her life over the course of the past week. Now, she was being so disruptive that on this day she walked in, I lost it. Like, I cracked. I shouldn't have cracked, but I think it was needed because I don't think anybody had given her the truth up until I cracked. So that class, before we started that morning, I was reading a passage from a book. It's The Millionaire Mind. Let me see. Yeah, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And so I'm reading this passage about how rich people think and how poor people think, how poor people respond, and so on and so forth. So I read the whole first chapter. And this young lady, of course, misses this whole story. She walks in late and she proceeded to tell us, something about one of her baby daddies. And she had 3 of them. And so she had pretty much complained or talked about each baby daddy at some point during every class. And I was like, I'm done with this. So I got to give her the real. And so after reading this passage, she walked in late. She starts complaining again about her baby daddy this, baby daddy that. And I was like, yo, cut this shit out. I said, first of all, you've been late every time. I don't know why you're late. I don't even care. You grown. Do what you do. I say, but I'm here to give this program. And I need to make sure that the people who want to learn and actually move forward are getting all my time's worth. Not, we having to stop class because you're being so disruptive. And what I've also noticed, and I just started going in on her. I said, look, I read this passage this morning and you pretty much fit the description of like somebody who's poor. And don't take my word for it. I just read this book to the class this morning. And people like nodding their heads and they're kind of watching. I said, look, you come in here, you're late, you blame your baby daddy. And I said, yo, you ain't the only woman that has multiple baby daddies who's in the system. So first off, you ain't special. And I said, has anybody else noticed? I kind of looked around and made it like a whole thing. I said, has anybody else noticed that She complains about all these dudes who probably weren't stand-up guys when she met them, yet she had a kid with them. And yo, her face, I mean, priceless. Like, you could just see her fuming. And everybody in the class is just like silent. Like, I'm going in on her. And I just met this lady last week. And so I'm going in about, you're blaming everybody else, you're complaining, you're trying to make yourself out to be the victim. I said, you've had a role in this life that you've lived. So why do you keep blaming everybody else for your shit? And I'm just going off on her. So she cussed me out, walks out of class. So I gave her some truth, right? And the reason I say the truth hurts is because a lot of us we're running away from the truth in our lives. We can't move forward financially because we keep making some silly excuse as to why we can't do something. I don't know what it is that a person needs when they connect with me, but I ask enough questions to see, where are you right now? Like, where are you? But also, what do you want to do? Because it's not gonna just happen. Like, it's not just gonna happen. So back to this young lady in the class. So, she cussed me out. She walks out the class and everybody was like, yo, Mr. Smith, you wrong for that. And I was like, am I wrong? I say, because up until this point in her life, everybody's been fucking lying to her about her problems. And I think some of it is external. I won't excuse that. But have anybody noticed that she has never taken responsibility for her actions? And then I reread the book, like the passages, because there were a few other people who had come in late. And I said, just so we can kind of level set the class, I said, let me reread some of these passages again. And she, after I read this, she fit the description to the T. Poor people blame people. They're always trying to justify something and they're always complaining and they made themselves to be the victim. And as I reread the passage, everybody was like, yo, I think you actually care about her. And I said, I do. I don't even know this. I just met her less than a week ago, just in this brief few hours that I had these people in this class. I said, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, a lot of the information I was sharing with them in the class was going over their head. So I said, let's just stop talking about the nonsense I'm supposed to teach you. And let's just get real and talk about life. And so we talked about life for the next hour. And I started going around the room and I was telling a lot of my truths. And I said, if everybody is willing and open to share, then I think we all can move forward. Look, I understand that people, grew up in tough neighborhoods. People have had drug addictions, alcohol, mental illnesses. I get it. You may have been born to, you may have been a crack baby. I don't care what the scenario is, because there are always stories where people have come from the gutter and have made it. And so I think those people who made it made a decision to do something different. And so we talked the whole hour and a half about truth. And as we were sharing these stories, I got everybody to kind of write down one or two things that they wanted to focus on after the conclusion of this series we were doing for the county. And I said, I may never see any of you ever again in life, but if you can internalize this message that I'm trying to share with you, that I reinforce with a book reading, then I think you all can figure out your lives. And you may need to stay in the system for a little while longer, but I don't want you to be here forever. And so as we got through, the talk, I had a few more minutes at the end to kind of get back into the lesson. But the young lady walked back in. And she walked back in, y'all. And this is real shit. She walked back in with a smile on her face. And I stopped class. I said, hey, I'm glad you came back. And I immediately said, I'm not going to, I'm one of these hardcore guys. It was the right thing for me to do that day, is tell her the truth. And again, it was only temporary because she left for an hour and a half and came back, right? And so she comes back in smiling. And she said, you're wrong for that. And I said, you know what? I may be wrong in your eye, but everybody witnessed why you all are in this room today. You fit the description verbatim as to why poor people continue to be poor, why their kids continue to be poor, and why you're never going to get out the hood. Straight up. You all have just seen an example. I read a book about, millionaires. I'm not saying you're going to be a millionaire, but don't you just want to do more and do better? Because that's why I said what I said today. I did not apologize for my remarks. I called her on her bullshit. It was the truth. Some of y'all just don't want to act right. And so now I'm supposed to apologize and be nice. Screw that. You're the one that doesn't have a plan. You're the one that doesn't save money. You're the one that won't be able to retire. You're the one that still won't get life insurance and you don't want to protect your family. You're the one that still won't meet with the attorney to write up your estate plan. So in case you die, just so you know, everybody's going to die. So you don't want to do all these things and then you're expecting all this success. Yo, the truth is the truth. So why do you keep running? And this young lady that I'm telling you about, she was just running from all her problems. And all I said was, don't you want to do better? And again, she gave me a nice hug after class. And I said, look, I've never, again, after that day, I've never seen this young lady. I gave her my information. I said, look, if there's ever a time, like I would love to get an update on how things are going. Now, I never got it, but needless to say, I was probably the first guy ever in her life to ever tell her the truth. Even the people who were working at the county and the self-sufficiency programs and all the programs she was going through the county, they're not talking to her the right way. She's not doing better, and yet she will stay in the system because nobody has come at her the proper way. So the truth might hurt temporarily, but think about the alternative. Keep lying to yourself and you're going to keep getting the same terrible results. You're never going to figure it out. You're always going to feel like you're just getting by, that you're having a good time, you're having a bad time, you're having an okay time. I want you to always feel like you're in control of your financial destiny, and many of us are not. And it's primarily because we do not have a financial plan in place. So if you decide to connect with me, I'm not going to waste your time on all the glitz and glamour and what could be possible. I'm going to see what it is that you want to do. You're going to tell me about what you've been doing. And then we're just going to talk it out. And I'm going to get right to the point. I'm going to tell you the truth. And if it hurts and it stings a little bit, it's temporary because you haven't addressed this issue. I got a text message this morning from a client of mine who just hasn't done what I said. Actually, I take it back. She said she was going to do something. She ain't do it yet. And she texted me this morning and said, I've been avoiding you. And I said, you're damn right you have. And I said, you're the only one who is losing in this situation. You have avoided me. And where has it gotten you? Absolutely nowhere. She's in the same spot that she was in 2 months ago. So why are we playing? I said, you're afraid of success. You're afraid of making money. You're afraid. And until you address this, I can't help you. You can keep hitting me up and checking in, but you ain't doing nothing. I cannot do the work for you. And I keep trying to remind people that I'm always willing to help you, especially if you're my client and you paying me money. It's my job is to help you achieve these goals, to do this update and it be positive. Like you didn't fall off the wagon. And even if you did, you had a plan or you had some type of structure, and then you're able to kind of get back on the right track. So I am one of these guys who will tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat how bad your situation might be. But what I will do is always offer you a solution. And in addition to offering that solution, I'm always going to ask you, what are you willing to do for your success? I can only do but so much. I have a plan. You don't. Could I interest you in having a plan? And even if it's something simple and basic that you have to get done, then let's just keep it right there. I always ask people to set up a 15-minute phone call with me. The links are in my bio. 15 minutes, I know everybody's like, there's no way. Yes, there is. I don't need that much time to get to the point and get you to act. If you are ready to change your life from a financial perspective, I know I can help in some form or fashion. You just got to be willing to reach out and let me know. So as I'm wrapping up here, stop lying to yourself. Let me just say that. Just stop lying to yourself. The truth is only going to hurt temporarily until you get past it. And then watch how your life changes once you start to be honest with yourself. So with that, I bid you all farewell. I will catch you next time around, and I appreciate you tuning in.